Philosophy is defined as the love of wisdom. It serves as a rational and reflective guide for understanding life, solving problems, and making sense of the world. Philosophy can be both theoretical and practical. In the Western tradition, philosophy emphasizes logic, critical thinking, systematic analysis, and the accumulation of knowledge. It often focuses on separating components to understand the whole and mastering or controlling reality. In contrast, the Eastern tradition focuses more on spiritual insight, harmony, unity, and adapting to the natural flow of life. It tends to be inductive and closely tied to religious and metaphysical perspectives. Modern developments have led to the emergence of new branches of philosophy related to current global challenges, such as environmental ethics, technological philosophy, and organizational philosophy. Despite diverse approaches, philosophy remains a central tool for rational inquiry and personal, as well as societal growth. Influence of Eastern and Western philosophy on modern life, from ancient wisdom to contemporary practice. Philosophy is not merely a speculative discipline, it is a guide for living. Although Eastern and Western philosophies differ in their historical development, logical paths, and value priorities, in today's globalized and digital age, they both find their way into daily life in diverse ways. This video takes a chronological approach to examine representative philosophers and philosophical traditions from both East and West, exploring how these ideas continue to shape our lifestyles, values, social systems, and behavioral habits. The development and modern integration of Eastern philosophy. 6th century BCE. The foundations of Chinese and Indian philosophy. China, Confucius. Confucianism laid the ethical foundation for East Asian societies for over 2 millennia. Confucius advocated for benevolence, righteousness, propriety, wisdom, and trustworthiness, emphasizing family values, social responsibility, and hierarchical order. His principle of cultivating the self, managing the family, governing the state, and bringing peace to the world closely linked personal development with societal governance. In modern life, family values, respect for teachers, and filial piety remain deeply rooted in Chinese culture. Many Asian companies emphasize loyalty and collective honor, reflecting the Confucian ideal of harmony. China, Laozi, and Zhuangzi. Taoism promotes the principles of effortless action and harmony with nature, advocating for a life aligned with the natural flow. Zhuangzi expanded this with the idea of the carefree, wandering mind, seeking spiritual freedom and transcendence. In modern life, amid the fast pace of urban living, practices such as meditation, slow living, and minimalism have become popular forms of stress relief. Taoist philosophy has significantly influenced wellness trends and psychological practices. In Daya Siddhartha Gautama, Buddhism emphasizes the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, teaching that suffering can be transcended through introspection and meditation. In modern life, popular meditation apps like Headspace are rooted in Buddhist practices of mindfulness and insight. Workplace trends such as mindful leadership and emotional regulation reflect Buddhism's influence on personal awareness and inner balance. From the Middle Ages to the early modern period, inheritance and evolution in Japan, Korea. Japan KK and the development of Zen. Zen Buddhism emphasizes direct experience and sudden enlightenment, is deeply influencing the Bushido code and traditional arts such as tea ceremony, flower arrangement, and martial arts. In modern life, Zen aesthetics have influenced global design, including the minimalist style seen in Apple products. Many corporate training programs now incorporate Zen thinking to foster focus and inner stability. Korea, the enduring impact of Neo-Confucianism. During the Joseon dynasty, Neo-Confucianism systematized Confucian ethics, emphasizing hierarchy, morality, and family duties. In modern life, Korean society still values family structure and seniority, and the intense pressure in education is rooted in the Confucian ideal of self-cultivation and merit. The evolution and modern reflections of Western philosophy. 5th century BCE, the birth of Greek philosophy. Greece, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. Socrates advocated for self-examination and critical thinking. Plato explored the world of ideal forms and the soul, while Aristotle emphasized logic, empirical observation, and ethical moderation. In modern life, Western education widely adopts the Socratic method, encouraging questioning, dialogue, and critical analysis. These philosophical foundations underpin Western science, democracy, and legal systems. From the Middle Ages to the Renaissance, religious thought and humanism. Christian thinkers, Augustine and Thomas Aquinas. They merged Greek philosophy with Christian theology, constructing a framework that emphasized the unity of reason and faith. In modern life, Western ethics continue to reflect Christian influences, particularly in perspectives on marriage, guilt, and individual freedom. Italy, the Renaissance. The rise of humanism emphasized the centrality of human beings, promoting revolutions in art, science, and political thought. In modern life, the Western emphasis on personal worth, aesthetic expression, and scientific progress stems from this humanistic tradition. France, René Descartes. His statement, "I think, therefore I am," marked the dawn of modern philosophy, emphasizing rational doubt and logical clarity. In modern life, Western societies uphold logical reasoning, scientific methods, and independent thinking, reflected in institutional design and educational models. Britain, John Locke, Jeremy Bentham, and John Stuart Mill. They developed empiricism, utilitarianism, and liberalism, laying the foundation for modern democratic theory. In modern life, Western legal systems, democratic governance, and the protection of human rights, privacy, and freedom of speech are deeply rooted in these philosophies. Germany, Immanuel Kant, G.W.F. Hegel. Kant emphasized moral law within, Hegel developed dialectics and historical consciousness, and Nietzsche proposed the idea of the Bermensch and the revaluation of values. In modern life, self-discipline, responsibility, and a critical spirit in Western culture are strongly influenced by these German thinkers. 20th century and beyond, existentialism, analytical philosophy, and tech ethics. France, Jean-Paul Sartre, and Albert Camus. Existentialists stressed individual freedom and responsibility in an absurd world, urging people to create meaning through their choices. In modern life, the pursuit of freelance careers, identity exploration, and anti-establishment attitudes among youth reflect existentialist anxieties and courage. Britain and the US, Ludwig Wittgenstein and Bertrand Russell. Their work in language and logic laid the groundwork for modern logic, computer science, and artificial intelligence. In modern life, philosophical thinking shapes software design, AI ethics, and communication theory. Issues like algorithmic fairness and transparency draw directly from ethical philosophy. Contemporary integration and future trends. In the age of globalization and digital transformation, Eastern and Western philosophies are increasingly blending to confront common challenges of the modern world. In education, Eastern students are placing greater emphasis on critical thinking and creativity, while Western schools increasingly incorporate mindfulness and inner cultivation. In the workplace, Eastern companies are encouraging individuality and innovation, while Western organizations stress teamwork and collective intelligence. In health and lifestyle, Eastern practices like meditation and yoga have gained worldwide popularity, while Western nutrition and behavioral science have entered many Asian households. In digital culture, virtual reality and artificial intelligence raise philosophical questions about consciousness, moral responsibility, and human-machine coexistence. These challenges lead many to turn back to ancient wisdom for insight. Conclusion. Philosophy has never been far from our lives. Eastern philosophy teaches humility, introspection, and living in harmony with nature, while Western philosophy inspires independence, creativity, and the courage to change the world. In a diverse and rapidly evolving world, understanding and integrating both traditions not only helps us better grasp reality, but also guides us to live with greater wisdom, clarity, and freedom.